Hello. Hello, everyone. I think music is not working. It's a bit weird. Let me try to troubleshoot this. Hello? Oh, this is weird. Looks like it's not capturing the audio from my MacBook. Strange. Hello? Try to add a okay. The new one seems to work. I don't know why it doesn't work for the old one. Kind of bugged. Okay. Moved. Okay. I think it works. Should work again. Okay. Have to fix this as well. Okay. Okay, I think it should work now. Yeah, hello everyone and welcome to the stream. Wait. Something is happening to my MacBook. Huh. My screen capture is not working anymore. Okay. This is really weird. Okay, I think I got it back to working. I have no idea why it doesn't work anymore. Seems like it was stuck. Okay, now it's working. That was interesting. Okay, so welcome everyone to the stream. This is the 16x AI coding stream. And I'm your host, Julian. So a little bit about this stream. So this stream was set up so that I can share how I use AI to code and share various AI coding tools, models, my setup, and show you guys how it's like to use AI coding tools in the real world as a experienced software engineer. So I am a full-time entrepreneur, founder, I guess. I work on my own AI-related products. So a little bit of background. So this is an AI coding tool that I built a very long time ago. And this is a new tool that I'm working on for making evals. And apart from these two, I'm also doing this stream. Yeah, so that's a little bit of introduction, and today we're gonna be looking at Qwen3 which is a new tool, and gpt-oss-120b. So we're gonna pair these two together and see how well it does for real-world coding. So let's go to Qwen3 first. So I was looking at the OpenRouter ranking, and I realized that on the top app, right, no matter which date or week or month you pick, actually Qwen3 is the top ranked app in terms of token usage. That means a lot of people are using Qwen3 for coding. Let me see if this is. Yeah, I think I might have messed up my setup. Okay. I think it still works. For some strange reason, OBS stopped working today after I streamed, after I started. Anyway, so Qwen3, as you can see, is the top app, actually ahead of Line and Code, Cling, Line, Code. So that's why I want to check it out. It seems like it's a pretty interesting app. AI coding agent. It has this orchestrator, architect code, and debug mode built in, and in terms of features it looks pretty complete. So that's on the AI coding tool side, and we'll also be using gpt-oss-120b. So this is the new model released by OpenAI. Which is, according to my evaluation, is actually a pretty good model. So I have a chart here. As you can see, it did pretty well in my coding eval, which put it ahead of GPT 4.1 and Gemini 2.5 Pro, and just a little bit behind Grok 4 and Claude 4 models. So that's gpt-oss-120b. But I do see that not a lot of coding apps are using this model. I'm not sure why. So if you look at this, this is the page for Qwen3, and if you look at the models that were used by Qwen3, we can see that it's actually not even in top 20, right? So there's Sonnet, Qwen3 Coder, and all these models. And there's GLM 4.5, which is the model. There's no gpt-oss-120b. So I'm quite curious on why this is the case. So I think today we'll also need to be figuring out what's the problem with this model, or why nobody is using it. Is it actually a bad model, or it's just people haven't caught up with it? Alright. So that's the setup, and let me go to the first project. So you can see here I've already opened up this project. This is the YouTube thumbnail maker project I've made quite a few weeks ago. So this is coded with Claude Code and Cursor, and it's an app for you to make a YouTube thumbnail with a lot of features. So I'm gonna keep working on this feature using Qwen3 together with the gpt-oss-120b model. So that's gonna be the setup for today. I've already set it up, so you can see here I'm using OpenRouter, everything is medium. I don't think it matters for this model, and we're using Cerebus as the provider because Cerebus is the better provider based on my testing for this model, and it's really fast as well. Maybe not zooming too much. So I've already give it a try on the first task, which is to describe this code, right? So this is kind of like a testing task. So there was some errors, but I think that was just because of the setup. So I asked the question, what does this code do? While pointing to the index.html, and they actually asked me a question back, right? Which is interesting behavior. I've never seen other coding agents do this, asking a clarification question, which is quite good. That gives me a very good impression for this coding agent. So you can see you can select the file, right? So I selected index.html, and then it got a bunch of errors, but it's just because of the setup, and then eventually it was able to give me a good summary of what this code does. And then what's interesting here is that there's a button to begin a new task. So this, I think, is a very smart design choice, because in other coding models like Cursor or Claude Code, right? One of the major problems that people have is the context window, context limit. People didn't know that they need to use a new session or start a new session for each new task, right? So they'll keep using the same session until it's like very full, and then they do compact, and then or they just run out of context window and cannot do anything. So by adding a button here, help people to start a new task after a task is completed is a very smart decision. I think this shows that people behind this tool, I don't know whether it's copied from Qwen or Code or they invented themselves, but this is a very smart choice to have this button so that people will know if this task is done, then you should not continue the session, right? You should click this button to start a new task. And that is exactly what we're gonna do. So we click on this button and then we have a new task. Actually, before that, I haven't finished looking at the welcome screen of this tool. So let's quickly go through the welcome screen. So you can write code. Okay, let me close the one. So you can write code, many mode. Okay, understand your code base is ask mode. Yeah, so basically you can switch the modes here. I think it's trying to tell you all the modes. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work well with my light theme. So I think most people using this kind of tools are using dark theme, right? So you can see it's not really working when with my light theme. So we can reference specific files or functions. Okay, let me try it out. So if I use index.html, yes, I can reference files, which is similar to Cursor. Get things working again. Okay, so if you run into errors, switch to debug mode and describe the problem. Okay, interesting. So they have a dedicated debug mode, similar to the Cursor's bug finder thing, I guess, specifically for fixing software bugs. I guess it's a nice thing to have because a lot of people, vibe coders, have problems fixing bugs. I guess having a dedicated mode might help with that, like to be more specialized in just bug fixing. I'm not sure how effective that is, but let's see. Right? So there's a planning mode, architect mode. We can switch to architect mode and ask high-level questions. Use it to break down features. Okay. So I think this is also quite useful. Basically, this is like the planning mode for Claude Code. I think similar for root code, plan versus act. I personally just use markdown files to plan, but I guess if you don't want to create new markdown files for each task, you can use this. and then there's more. Okay, so let's mark this as done, and then let's get started with first task. So for the first project, as you can see, we'll be working on this YouTube thumbnail generator app. I have a few features planned. So the first feature is gonna work on a layout update. So we want to have 2 columns instead of 1 column. Now there is just 1 column on the right hand side where all the buttons and features are all crammed inside. I want to have 2 columns of control on the left hand side and the right hand side, similar to I think Photoshop, and so that I have more space and more tools that I can immediately access. So that's the first feature I want to build. Let's see how well Code and gpt-oss-120b can handle this task. Let me try the plan mode, right? This is my first time using it, so let's see how well it does. I think I'm gonna use the architect mode and then plan out, right? So let me just describe my requirements. I want to have 2 columns of control. One on left side and one on right side, each with some grouping. Each control should have a distinct group of features. Each control column have a distinct features, so that the user can access more controls without scrolling. Instead of 1 currently. Okay, I think that's a good description. Let's see. I guess this mode is supposed to clarify your requirements. So let's see how well it clarifies. Okay, so oh wow, so it's actually quite fast. So it already read all the files and did some reading, and then it's got a question again, right? So it's actually like a Socrates kind of method where it asks you a question and then you can clarify your requirement. So you could place text image shape on the left side and the layer control on the right. Yeah, I mean this looks right. Okay, it gives you options and then you can kind of select, which is very intuitive. I already like this. I guess I have been missing out by just using further and Claude Code. This is quite fun. So there's a to-do list similar to Claude Code. Let's see what's inside, right? Analyze, modify, update, verify. Okay, similar to Claude Code, I guess. So you can see the exact amount of money you are spending. So we already spent like 6 cents. Yes. Okay, switch to code. Oh, okay. So it says that Claude Code wants to switch to code mode. Oh, okay, it's already switched to Claude Code mode by default. Oh, okay, so it's actually automatically switching between different modes. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So basically, let me actually fix my stream setup. Okay. All right. So it automatically switched to code mode after planning, and then it started making file edits, right? And then there's like a checkpoint. We need to apply diff, but need to escape something. Looks like it's having trouble making edits. That's interesting. So maybe this GPT-oss model can't handle it well. Yeah, let me actually update the stream plan to reflect what's actually happening. So the first one is YouTube thumbnail generator. Feature 1 is update. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah. Okay. Looks like it's actually stuck here. Am I right? We will produce final content. Will produce content. Okay, so it looks like it got stuck in editing the file. It hasn't made a file edit. Oh wait, it is doing something. What's happening? Oh, okay. Wait, what the hell? What's going on? It opened a new file editor on the right hand side. Okay. Now I'm very confused. Can I move this back to the right hand side? I can. Okay. I guess it's because of this is actually technically an editor window, so when you open a new editor window, it actually kind of open on the right hand side. It looks like the file edit was done. It was quite slow, but turned out to be okay. Yeah. Well, let's see how well it did. I don't know. There seems to be no change. What happened? Why is it still one column? Error. YouTube is not. Something is wrong with my setup again. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers may experience buffering. Okay, that's weird. But I don't see a left and right control. Let me look at the actual thing. Huh. This is very weird. canvas control, left control and right control. It's not loading the updated HTML file. Wait, why is it not loading the HTML? It is the... Oh, this is super weird. It's rendering, I think, the old file. Editor area, canvas container. Oh, okay, it's this things. Ah, I see. Oh, it's rendering okay, so it completely misunderstood my requirements, I think. I was thinking about this right column, but it actually made the tabs inside the for controlling the element 2 columns. Okay, that's interesting. So I think it might be my mistake to not tell it. I think in the planning phase it did say, right? I think in the planning phase it was actually planned correctly. Yeah, you can see here layer control and other controls. So actually I think the plan was correct, but somehow it missed the requirement completely. So let's see if we can course correct. So this is not very good. So let's be more explicit, right? I think it's the toolbar, right? I actually want to break down the toolbar into 2 columns, not the canvas control area. Currently on the right side of the canvas control side. I think it completely misunderstood. That's why it was making this section 2 columns. But actually I wanted to make this section, the entire right section, be 2 columns. 2 columns. Let's be more explicit, right? I guess 1 column on the left hand side of the canvas and 1 on the right hand side. Left hand side should have all the shape elements, and then right hand side will have other controls. Okay, all the shape related features. Right hand side will have other controls. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, so I think the user experience is quite good, but in terms of the raw capabilities, I think the model like actually hallucinated and misunderstood the plan. Let's see if it can correct itself. Yeah, this is very interesting because it kind of touched on the point where like the model can't really guess what you are thinking, right? If you just say 2 columns, then it doesn't actually know what you're referring to, right? Unless you point to the exact element. So it's more like a communication issue. So far we burned 58k tokens, and it only cost us 14 cents, 17 cents. That's good. All right. think for every edit, it's actually taking a lot of time. So this is checkpoint, this completion result, reasoning. What the, okay. So the blue parts are the costs. We can also monitor the OpenRouter activity. Yeah, so it's doing all the callings here. Is this? Oh, okay. Edit unsuccessful. Okay. This may indicate a failure in model thought process or inability to use. Okay, so it's actually stopped here. Right? Let's try again. I think Sonnet wouldn't have problem with this task, so it's definitely worse than Sonnet. I don't know if I'm pushing this model too hard, or there are better models than this model for agentic workload. I guess that probably explains why this model isn't so popular on Qwen, right? And most people are still using Sonnet Qwen3 Coder. These are the open source ones, GLN 4.5. Kimi-K2, okay, Kimi-K2 is also quite popular. If we look at recent days, right? I think there's Qwen3 Coder is getting a lot more usage. Like it is actually the top model. Okay, open source model. Okay, so this is done now. I added it to play a sound when it's done. Let's see. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so it's still not understanding the requirement correctly. That's really weird. Okay, I'm thinking of how to nudge the model to do it correctly. I want to make 2 bar 2 columns. This is really weird. I already clarified my requirements and it's still making the same mistake. I guess I should point out this specific thing. This element. Let's give it one more try before we move on. I think this model might have some problem understanding the requirement. Okay. Okay, this is like a system prompt kind of thing. Current cost, model, code. Okay. But I guess if the plan wasn't really good, it would just execute wrongly, or did we actually plan? Maybe we didn't actually plan well. Okay, so I'm just gonna cancel this and check out everything. and then start over all again, right? I think maybe my my initial prompt wasn't that good. I need to think more carefully how to describe this task. Currently, the toolbar column is on the right side of the canvas. Toolbar. It contains background, adding shapes, and managing layers and managing projects. Contains features to change background. Update the page layout so that this toolbar is broken down into two columns, one on the left side and one on the right side. The left side should focus on shape and elements, and the right side should have all the other features. Okay, I think this is good enough. I think this is as clear as it can be for a human. Like, they have elements, layers, and shapes, projects, and everything else. So can I actually select this section of the code and then paste it inside here? No, that will just edit. Okay. The specific elements, I guess I also have to point it to this specific element. Do not confuse it. Okay, so let's try again. I want to give it another try to see if it's my prompt that is ambiguous or it's the model that is having trouble understanding my requirement. Okay, looks like this time it's definitely planning correctly. So there's a background layer, save as image, yeah. So these are the correct elements. So the plan is definitely correct. So if it actually failed to execute, it must be the model's problem, not the prompt's problem. I think so far my experience is it has a good user experience, but this model is not doing as well as I expected it to be. Looks like people were right that this model is like good on the benchmarks, but not that good in real life. So let's see if this second attempt is better. If it's better, we'll continue using this model. If not, we'll just try the most popular model for this tool, which is the most popular open source model, Qwen3 Coder. Let's see how well it does. So it moved to code mode, right? Okay. Which is not allowed. Okay. Okay, so it's quickly editing a bunch of files. I must say this is more fun than Claude, right? Because you can see a lot more stats. and you can actually see some raw stuff. Like this is some kind of internal notepad on what's happening behind the scene. Okay, so it's having a lot of trouble editing code, right? You must replace them in your search. Correct format. Okay, so it's trying to use the search replace format for code editing, but I think the model doesn't really like this specific format. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. I guess this model is just not like tuned or designed to work with a tool like Qwen3. That's very interesting. So I think despite the raw model's capabilities, because it's like it's designed to use tools or edit code in a certain way, like using tools that is not compatible with how Qwen3 is designed to work. That's why it's having trouble editing code, right? So basically the model is not very compatible with the AI coding tool, which is Qwen3 in this case. I'm not sure which tool OpenAI had in mind when they trained this model. Maybe it's their own codex or cursor. Maybe it's just some hypothetical AI coding agent, but definitely it doesn't work well on Qwen3. Yeah. So I guess that it also explains why this model is not popular as a coding model, despite its good performance on the benchmark. And that also answered one of my very old questions on like why all the new models like Qwen3 Coder, all the new models, right? They all emphasize on agentic coding. So you can see similar stuff for Kimi K2. All these models, they kind of focus on agentic tool calls, right? So Qwen3 or Kimi K2, I guess because they are like designed to be used with this kind of AI coding tools, that's why they're better and like more compatible. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna copy the prompt, paste it here, and then try another new model. So I think it's safe to say that this model, it does not work well, at least does not work well for this particular tool, right? So there's no point in trying to make it work, or just move to another model. I think Qwen3 Coder is the most popular model for this particular tool. So this is the page for Qwen3, and Qwen3 Coder is the most popular open source model, just behind Sonnet 4, and it's actually more popular than Sonnet 4 if you look at the recent dates, right? For example, in August 14, it processed 17 billion compared to Anthropic Sonnet 16.9 billion. It is actually more popular. So let's try this. I think this will be a much better performance. I'm not sure which provider gives the best performance for this model. I think Fireworks is a safe one to go, but it has some uptime issues. Let's see if I can find another good one. All of them are FP8. I think I'm just gonna go with Cerebus again because that's the one I trust the most. Let's go with Cerebus FP8. And Hit save. Done. Sorry. Wait, why is it not saving? Okay. Saved. So let's start a new task. Alright, let's go back to architect mode and then paste in our prompt. And let's revert all the changes. Okay. So everything is back to clean slate. We're using Qwen3 Coder now instead of gpt-oss. So let me just update. Yeah. Okay. So we have the new prompt here, and we have the old prompt here with a new model. And let's see how well it does. I think this should be much better than the previous attempt. This is the people's choice, right? Everybody using this tool loves Qwen3 Coder. So let's see. Okay, it's pretty fast. Yeah, I mean, this is the correct plan, right? Again, it identified the components, came up with a plan. So we're gonna move the element and shape related stuff to the left side, and then all the other features like background, layers, and project management on the right side. It does look correct. Oh, okay, so provider returned error. Okay, that's interesting. Let's just retry, I guess. Monitor this as well. Okay, so it asked me a question. Interesting. This is the third time I'm getting a question. Before I proceed, you'd like me to create a visual representation of how the layout will change. This is very interesting. Okay, so it's actually like kind of interactive and ask you clarifying question and make sure it's doing the right thing. And this is very good. I like this user experience a lot more than Claude Coder. Unfortunately, we're still getting 429 provider errors. Looks like Cerebus is not doing very well. Wait, Cerebus is having a good uptime, right? Okay, so maybe we should just let it use whatever it is. Yeah, let's not force it to use Cerebus. Just route to whatever provider that is available. Alright. So we have a visual representation. So it actually draw out the plan. Very cool. Very cool, yeah. I mean, it did a very good job of drawing out what it is currently look like and what's the target state. It's pretty cool. So I guess it should switch to the code mode now, I guess. Need to switch to code mode. Yeah. Wants to switch to code mode. Very good. Okay, I think this is already better than the previous attempt. I have more confidence right now in Qwen3 Coder compared to gpt-oss. At least this visual looks very good, right? It's kind of what we want. Okay. So I made a bunch of edits. It looks like it's the correct edit. No hallucination this time. Updating the CSS. Let's see which provider is used. It looks like it's a bunch of different providers. Oh, you can see that our context window is growing. So every new message, you need to send the entire history back. So that's why the input token keeps increasing. That's because our context window is increasing in size, and for each message, you need to send the entire history back to the model. So this number will just go up and up until we hit the token limit. It's trying to do some responsive design, okay. Reserve model response, okay. Trying to test changes in the browser. I think it does have some built-in browser tools too. Okay, so they just say since I can't directly open a browser, I assume the changes are correct. Okay, that's interesting. I think it does have access to the browser, right? I checked the settings, it has the browser too. Test connection? No, okay. It does have the browser too, right? Okay, let's test first and see if it works. Oh, okay, so now we do have two columns, but it's not on the left hand side of the canvas, right? That's gonna be a problem. So let's first ask about the browser tool. I think you have the browser tool. The app is running on port 8000. Yeah, let's see if we can use the browser tool to check. Oh, it does have the browser. It's trying to run open. Okay. Can it actually see? I'm not 100% sure how this works. Oh, it cannot directly see the browser. Okay, so it does look like it doesn't actually have the tools. I need to check if I didn't set this up correctly or something. Oh, that supports computer use. I see. Okay, so this only works for Sonnet. Okay, interesting. Okay. I think I'm live again, and my computer just crashed. Believe it or not. This is the first time that my computer has crashed. This is the first time this computer, MacBook Air M4 has crashed. I think I might have pushed it too hard with the OBS and cursor and everything running in parallel. That it just literally crashed. Or maybe it's the kilo code that caused it to crash. Okay. I actually don't know why it crashed, but it was like completely frozen. So let me fix my screen again. Okay, I think it should be. Double check. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why my computer just crashed. I think OBS is just very CPU intensive. I thought I have the best CPU on the planet, the M4 Mac. But apparently it can't handle this kind of work. So let me just try to reopen it. Okay, I managed to reopen it. It's lagging a little bit. And my streaming setup is completely messed up right now again. A very strange. Oh, okay, I see. I have two. Okay, I have two screen captures running. No wonder it's so intensive. Because of the bug, I had two screen captures running. That must be the reason why it's so slow. I removed one of them. Let me just remove the other one from here as well. Okay, it's already removed. Okay, now it should be much better. Let's see how well it does. Okay, still not correct, so let's just give it some feedback and see how well it updates. Okay, my whisper flow is running. So the two columns are both appearing on the right side of the canvas. We need the left column to appear on the left side of the canvas. Okay, I think that's pretty good feedback. I'm just gonna use it on the left side because that seems to be the natural place for it to be. Safe to say that I think both of these models are nowhere close to Sonnet capabilities. I think Sonnet, based on my experience using Sonnet 3.5, 3.7, Sonnet 4, it shouldn't have any problem solving this task in zero shot, right? So I think it goes to show how much further behind these newer models are. But let's just stick to Qwen3 Coder and see how well this model does, because it is the most popular model for this tool. So it must be pretty good. My computer is really not liking this setup. I don't know why it's so CPU intensive. Okay, so it says that it completed the changes. Let's see. Okay, so now there are two columns. Interesting. So I think this is working, but obviously the canvas has become much smaller, so let's take back that. Now the canvas is too small. Can we use more space on the screen to make the canvas larger? The main canvas is let's not ask the model a question. Let's just ask it to execute the task, right? Use more space. Okay. At least it does fix the layout issue. User mentions that canvas is... How much have we spent? We already spent 61 cents for this. Seems to be on par with Sonnet spending. When I was running Claude Code, I don't remember YouTube stream being laggy and entire screen freezing. So it does seem like this new tool is more CPU intensive compared to Claude Code. Yeah, we can see there's a lot of plugin extension running. Maybe I need to buy a new better MacBook with like a MacBook Pro instead of MacBook Air. I mean, this is still a pretty good MacBook, right? It's M4, 24 gig memory, so it should be quite good. I don't know why it's the latest one. I don't know why it couldn't handle OBS and S2. Okay, so now it's significantly larger canvas, but the tools are kind of overflowing. The canvas is a little bit too big. Make it slightly smaller. Also, the elements inside the toolbars are overflowing horizontally, so make the toolbars wider as well. Okay, cool. Okay, so as you can see, the edits being made in real time. That's cool. I think overall it's a pretty fun experience. Like if you are doing coding for fun or just like hobby, I think this is a good setup. The only reason why it's lagging is because I'm streaming. Okay, so now it looks pretty good, right? So we have the elements on the left side. We can add elements. But my computer is kind of lagging, and then we can do something on the right side to change the pattern. Okay, and we can do some layering stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so after 1 hour we finally finished our first task. But that took a lot longer than I would expect, so it's like, I would say the open source models are not that good. So Qwen3 is definitely better. Qwen3 Coder is better than gpt-oss-120b in, this is called kilocode, right? So I think that's pretty clear. So I'm thinking for our subsequent features, should we just continue using Qwen3 Coder, or should we just swap to Sonnet instead? Okay. I think we'll try out the sonnet because we already know Qwen3 Coder is kind of also not that good. So let's see how well sonnet does. We still have the layout diagram, which we can safely remove. Now we can remove it, don't need it. So now we have the layout, 2 columns, just committing this chain. And then we're gonna swap the model again, sonnet, and see how much better sonnet is. Okay, so it supports image, supports prompt caching, and blah blah blah. Save that. And let's check this. So terminate. Okay. So for the second feature, we will be we allow duplicating shape and arrow, right? So currently, we can duplicate tags. See, this is one that we can duplicate, but we can't do the same for image or shapes, arrows. So I want to be able to also duplicate them. I think this is a pretty simple task. Sonnet should be able to handle this very easily. Let's just write a prompt. Currently, text elements support duplicate, but other elements do not. Implement duplicate feature for other elements, similar to how text element works. Okay, I think this is clear enough for the model to execute. So let's try this. So let's go back to the architect mode, I guess. Yeah, I think I like this architect mode a lot. It forces you to plan and check the planning before executing, so it should help improve the accuracy that model is in reading file. Also, I think KiloCode just by default auto approves all the requests, which is quite nice. We don't have to keep like approving or like use some dangerously skip permission like Claude. Okay, so it asked me a question again. I can see that only text. Would you like me to add individual buttons for each element? Create a single duplicate button that works. Let's see, right? So it's talking about this duplicate text. Okay, I think it's better if you have a single button. Yes. Yeah, let's do that. We don't care about the keyboard shortcuts now, but I think we can only select one, right? So even if we want to select 2 options, we can't. Oh wow, there's a lot of to-do list. Analyze, implement, update. Okay, so this thing does work. Oh wow, it generated like a mermaid diagram for implementation flow. Let's look at this. This is quite interesting. Element type create, apply offset, add to element array. Okay. Looks pretty good. A little bit overkill, but I think still pretty good. Add a universal generic duplicate selector element. I don't really like this nested scroll bar thing. It just feels a little bit too cheap and not very intuitive. I think cursor is still better in terms of user experience. Duplicate selector element. This actually should be better done with polymorphism, right? Instead of evals. So I guess I don't know. It didn't actually give us the option polymorphism. Maybe we can ask the model to do polymorphism instead. Let's add that as an option. Additional task. Then we want to apply polymorphism for this. To make it to encapsulate the logic inside the elements instead of using evals, I think. Actually, maybe not. Maybe we can't actually apply polymorphism because this is need to create a new element, right? Not do something within the element. So it's kind of hard to do polymorphism. Yeah, maybe it's not actually needed. Move that. It's interesting. Kilocode can actually open files and do edits, like as if it's like a cursor agent, but Code just does the edits using command line tools. It doesn't actually open files. I think it does open file if you don't skip the auto approve. It's trying to use the browser. Okay. Interesting. Oh yeah, now it has access to the browser too. Okay, cool. Because of the Sonnet model, so it does have access to the browser. Okay, so it managed to actually open the app with the file protocol. Pretty cool. Very cool, right? So I guess this is the main advantage of using the Sonnet model, is you can actually see the browser and use it. Yeah, it should start the Python. So that's okay. So it's actually knows how to start. Okay, I wonder if it's written here. Oh, it's not written. It just knows how to use Python. Okay. Looks like it's stuck again. Wait, why is it stuck? The app is running, right? Oh wow, my computer is kind of laggy. yeah, we can proceed. Okay, so now it's using the actual server. Let's see. Okay, interesting. So it's like a smaller viewpoint, so everything is kind of narrower, but you can see the layout and buttons still. Excellent, the application is loading properly. Oh, it can actually, oh, it's actually doing the end-to-end test. Wow, this is crazy. I don't have to do end-to-end test anymore. Like, I don't have to do manual testing. It can click the element and perform end-to-end test for me. It's actually clicking around and checking if they actually work. I guess this is quite expensive. Based on my knowledge on models, these images are not cheap as input, so it's actually very expensive, and they take up a lot of context window. You can see it's already $1. So I wouldn't actually enable this if I'm cost conscious. Like if I want to only spend like a few dollars a day, not like $100 a day, I would actually disable this feature, at least the image part, because feeding all this image into the model is pretty expensive. So all these images, all these screenshots are all inside the context window, and for each message you send, you have to resend all of them back to the model, right? So this is kind of very, very expensive. Obviously, I think the people who are using this might not be aware of this. Let's see the activity. Wow, it's already 100k. Okay, now I know why. Now I actually understand why KiloCode or Clean or root code has so much tokens on OpenRouter. It's because of all these images that's taking up a lot of input tokens. Yeah, now I think I understand why these apps are ranked so high on OpenRouter. Like why they consume so much token. It's because all of these images are being sent over and over again to the model for end-to-end testing, which is very expensive. Huh. I mean, it's expensive comparatively, right? If you are comparing this like $1.55 to an actual QA person, maybe it's actually cheaper, right? All relative. Okay, so we have finished the task. Let's see if it works. Oh yeah, so this is a different local storage. Let's see, we have oh, why we cannot duplicate this element? Duplicate element is actually grayed out for some reason. Oh, now we can. Okay, seems like works, I guess. So try to this and to back, select it, duplicate it. Okay, seems to work. Refresh, it's still there. Okay, change some color. Change this one's color. Refresh, still there. Okay, looks like the persistence also works. So yeah, so I guess this does work. Can even duplicate an image. Nice. Okay, so this works. Definitely, I think Sonnet is just a much better model compared to Qwen3 Coder. So this is not surprising. So that it worked for the first time. How long did it take? I wonder. Do we have like a timestamp or something? I don't know. You can't really see how long it took. I guess it's much shorter than the previous task. So duplicate element works. Alright, let's move on to the third one, right? So yeah, so I want to add a quick color selection for elements. Basically, the third task is we have these quick colors for the background color. I also want to have a quick color for like elements, right? Like the color of the text, other things. So let's do that. For this task, maybe I'll switch back to Qwen3 Coder because this is like a simpler task, I think. Let's try the Qwen3 Coder again. So this one, I'm gonna save it as Sonnet. Create some profiles here. New profile. Qwen3 Coder. Okay, so it inherits from the parent. Qwen3 Coder. Wait, why is it still Sonnet? Okay, it's kind of, wow, it's like flashing and okay. It's very obvious that this UI is a little flaky, right? Yeah, you can see this Sonnet task took a lot. It's much more expensive than Qwen3 Coder. So so let's work on this new task. Add add quick color selection for elements when changing color of the element. Color option for background. I think this should work. Yeah, I think this should work. Go back to the architect mode. Then the message. Oh wait, why is this still Sonnet? That's weird. I thought I already switched to Qwen3 Coder. Hallucin. Why is this still Sonnet? Save, done. Huh. That's weird. Okay, now it's Qwen3. File. I see which provider is being used. Okay, it's not a lot of toolcalls. I thought it would have made more toolcalls by now, but it's only 4 messages. Yeah, it looks like it's just using very different providers. It's not sticking to any particular one, I guess. Oh wow, this to-do list is much more comprehensive than the ones generated by Cloud. It has a lot more like granularity to it. Yeah, so let me also update the stream to do. We're on to our third feature. Right. It's adding the quick. Okay, so it didn't actually ask any clarification question for this task. It just went to the execution directly. Yeah, it went to the code mode directly. I don't know if it's gonna ask me a question. I guess not. I hope it's not like adding a bunch of color groups to each elements. That would be a very inefficient way to accomplish this task. I feel like it's better to just use JavaScript and inject them dynamically. Yeah, I don't think this is the right way, so I'm just gonna cancel and see if I can change the cursor of action for the model, right? Don't create these duplicated HTML elements, just use JavaScript to do this dynamically. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to keep on creating this color palettes. I see user feedback. I should use. Okay. Cool. So it's reverting the code change. Oh, there's some like internal to-do list. It's just using like a markdown for the to-do list. For those who had just joined, we found that gpt-oss-120b is actually not a very good model for this kilo code. So I have switched to the more popular model, which is Qwen3 Coder. It seems to be doing much better. I think this is kind of like on par with Cloud. Like for normal features, I think it looks on par to me. I think Cloud is maybe more consistent because it's just using Anthropic service, whereas for this one, if you use Qwen3 Coder, then it really depends on the provider, and some providers give you 4 to 9. Some providers use quantization, so the result might not be as consistent as Cloud versus via Anthropic API directly. But now I also understand why people keep complaining on OpenRouter Discord that they need a better way to filter out the providers and just like ensure that they have a good supply of like abundant supply of good providers for coding. Because if you get routed to a bad provider, then kind of mess up your your sequence of action. Oh wait, it already cost me 80 cents. I might be running out of my credits very. I only have a few dollars per router. Yeah, so I'm down to $2 already. Almost running out of my credits. Crazy. I spent like how much? $4 today. Mostly on Sonnet and Qwen3 Coder. Yeah. I think for normal people, Claude Code is just much better solution. And for $20, you get a lot more usage out of it. I think so. So if I look at my usage patterns for Claude Code, so this is for the past month from July 17 to August 16. I've used $190 of Claude Code credits, but I'm just on the $20 plan, right? So you get a lot more usage out of $20 plan compared to using like kilo code with Sonnet model, because you actually have to pay $190 flat to use the model in kilo code. I think Claude Code is still a better choice. Like if you pay a higher tier, $100, you can get thousands of dollars out of it. So I think as long as Anthropic is still subsidizing the cost, Claude Code is just like so much cheaper than burning these raw tokens as money. But I mean, this is a more transparent way of measuring the actual cost and giving you like a taste of how much it actually costs to use these models. I don't know if that's what people want. Right? People might just want the subsidized version in exchange for like privacy or something. Okay, yeah, so it's already done. I kind of want to know how it did it. Let's check out the code. Okay, so it has this JavaScript thing. Okay. Okay, cool. I think that should work out. Okay, so we have the quick colors here. Okay, it does work. Yeah, definitely works. So do something funny here. Okay, refresh. Okay, it works. So the quick color thing does work. Now it's gonna be much faster for me to change these colors. But I kind of wonder if we can refactor this as well. Let's give it an additional task to refactor the existing one. Well, also refactor the current one used by the background to use the same method, so that we can avoid duplicated logic. Current quick colors by the back options. Yes, I think this should be quite simple. Okay, so I guess, yeah, so like I said, I still think I think I'm still gonna stick to Claude Code because of how cheap it is right now, like $20. Can't really beat that. But if Claude Code becomes more expensive, then I don't know. I mean, I think Claude Code can do everything this tool does, as long as Claude is the best coding model. Yeah, I don't really see myself using this compared to Claude Code. It's basically functionally similar. Like there's like options to select, but that's like a very minor thing. Minor UX improvement. In terms of the robustness and reliability, I think Claude Code is still better. Yeah, so I don't actually see myself using this daily. It's just like I can understand why it exists, but I don't think it's like better than the competition, which is Claude Code. Yeah, I don't know how else to put this. It's not that it's doing something very different from Claude Code, right? In fact, it's like more verbose, so you can actually see what's doing. It's actually not that complicated. Just a loop, agent loop. I think Claude Code has more engineering stuff behind it to make it work. Yeah, so yeah, that's my thoughts after trying this out. I mean, it does work. It's just that I don't really like spending like this kind of raw API tokens. I'd rather have something that has predictable cost, like Claude Code. Why is this taking so long? Oh, it's trying to dynamically inject. Okay. I guess this is probably not a very good idea to make it use JavaScript. My fault, I think. I actually don't know how this thing got added. Where is the background color palette being added? Oh, there's the type thing. But I don't see like a background. Add method. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, it still works. Huh. But actually the palette is not being removed, right? I guess it didn't actually do anything. It didn't actually remove the color palette from the background. That's what I wanted to do. It didn't remove this part. Well, I guess it's a minor point. I didn't. Yeah, I think it's okay. don't really need this feature, say, so it's okay. Anyway, this is just my personal tool, so I don't really care if like there's duplicated code here, as long as it works. Yeah, so we have the quick colors for elements here. Nice. Now this tool is becoming slightly better for me to use to create new thumbnails. Nice. Yeah, so I think that's already 1 hour and 40 minutes for today's stream. I think that's gonna be everything I want to do. So in today's stream, we managed to add 3 more features to our YouTube thumbnail generator. The first one is the layout update. It used to be 1 column on the right side. Actually, I can probably open it. Oh wait, I actually already committed this, so you can't actually see the old one. Yeah, so anyway, it's already 2 columns. And the second one is, yeah, so previously it was 1 column on the right. We made it 2 columns so that we can show more stuff without scrolling. Second one is to duplicate shape and arrow. So we added a duplicate element. I don't know why sometimes it's grayed out. I guess there's a bug to fix. But if you refresh it, you actually duplicate arrows and add other things. That's nice. The UI is a little bit weird, but everything works. I guess that's the important part. And the third feature is the quick color selection. So yeah, instead of dealing with this very unreliable thing, we can just click a color and it will just apply the color to the element. Nice. Yeah, so it took a lot longer than I expected. I guess mostly because of gpt-oss-120b didn't really work in this 2 kilocode. So I guess if it doesn't work for popular tools, then it makes the model less useful, right? No. And Qwen3 Coder does work well. It's not as good as Sonnet, but it does work for normal tasks. And then obviously Sonnet is still the best model for coding. I don't think there's any doubt for that. Yeah, so I'll have to think about what to do next. Maybe I'll just go back to Claude for future live streams, because that's still the best solution for me. Yeah, that's all for today's stream. Thank you everyone for watching.